With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins'. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Hey guys, it's Austin Orman. Join me and former Husker Jay Foreman this Friday, February 6th for Old School, live from Back 9 Golf, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Roads in South Lincoln. We'll tell you all you need to know about the premier indoor golf place in Lincoln while enjoying Friday afternoon action of the Waste Management Open. Stop by for giveaways, prizes, and a tour of the facility. We hope to see you there on Friday, February 6th, beginning at 3 p.m. for Old School, live from Back 9 Golf in South Lincoln.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top-quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Make your next event unforgettable with Grazing Gouda, your local artists and experts in charcuterie and grazed tables. From boardrooms to ballrooms, they turn gatherings into experiences with stunning spreads of artesian cheeses, cured meats, fresh fruits, and gourmet bites. Perfect for corporate luncheons, weddings, parties, or any celebration that deserves a wow moment. They handle the details. You take the compliments. Book your graze table today at GrazingGouda.com. Grazing Gouda, because every event deserves to be savored.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That's right. Welcome in Ticket Weeknights, kicking off here on a Monday evening with the Husker Football / Athletics Hour here 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Austin Norman back in the saddle for this one. Had some life stuff pop up the last couple of weeks. So I appreciate Harrison and Nick Wyman filling in. But I'm back to chat with the lead sports columnist of the Omaha World Herald, Mr. Tom Shatel. Tom, it had been a couple of weeks. Saw you last night at the basketball game. Thanks for being available again here on a Monday night. How are you?
Perfect. Just waiting to talk Huskers. All things Huskers.
Lots to get to. We'll start in the basketball realm. That seems to be front of mind for everyone. Let's start with the game, really the week, I guess, that was for Nebraska men's basketball. Lost by a combined 12 points to number 3 Michigan and number 9 Illinois. Let's just go mostly off of yesterday's game, though, Tom. Nebraska in a back-and-forth game with Illinois till the last, 8 or 10 minutes or so. Illinois really took control. What'd you see out of Nebraska this weekend and yesterday that maybe concerned you for the rest of February, but also maybe gave you or should give Husker fans some hope that the rest of the season, should have more wins in store?
Well, I didn't really see too much that was concerning. The last week, Austin, I saw Michigan on TV. I saw UConn Saturday night in Omaha, and then I saw Illinois on Sunday. And all three of those teams are national title contenders. Nebraska, obviously didn't play UConn. Creighton did, but Nebraska can play with all three of them. Now we saw, the margin for error is slim. Against Michigan, they weren't at full strength, and then at the end they just didn't make enough shots down the stretch. Who's to say if they'd had everybody, at full strength, but, we'll never know. But, and then, Sunday, they had Mass and Frager, but just don't know if it doesn't look like Mass is really back yet. He wasn't really back. So he wasn't himself. So now was that Illinois? They played a big lineup. The thing about Illinois was if they run into a team in the tournament that has that kind of size, it probably means they're or the team like Illinois' talent and size probably means that they're either in the Elite Eight or the Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not going to see too many teams like that the rest of the way. But yeah, I mean, the margin for error is they have to hit shots and they have to play defense. And if they run into a team like that, they have to hit. They missed a lot of shots yesterday, a lot of open ones that they usually make. So that's basketball. That happens. And you can't really give Illinois' defense credit too. Another angle that I thought about was, I was watching it, was, Nebraska is a hard. If you've never played Nebraska with their defense, they're a hard team to play. They're a tough matchup. Teams don't usually see the kind of offensive connectivity. That's the word of the year now. Connectivity. We heard Illinois' Brad Underwood say that yesterday, but teams don't usually see a team like Nebraska very often with their defense and the way their offense, the offensive sets, the shots they make, and the older guys' confidence play well together. But if you've seen it twice, I just wondered if Illinois had a little edge yesterday, because they kind of knew what Nebraska was all about, and a lot of teams are kind of caught off guard by that, and the first time. So I wondered if that was not something that should help Nebraska in the NCAA tournament, because everybody's new. So, but so I thought about that a little bit. But no, I'm not concerned. They are who they are. They have to make shots, but the defense travels well. It puts them in every game. And they're going to go undefeated. They played the two best teams in the Big Ten, and if they play Michigan at home, who knows? So it's split with Illinois. I still love them. There's still a lot of reasons to think this is going to be big.
I completely agree. I said it this way, Tom. I think Nebraska played like a top 15 team this week. I think Nebraska's played like a top 15 team all year, maybe moments of being a top 10 team or better, certainly with a top 10, resume in the sport, being undefeated entering the week. But I think the way Nebraska played against Michigan and Illinois, with all the caveats and context you want to attach to it, can certainly apply. But if you look at the box scores that Nebraska put up against those two teams, that's been good enough for Nebraska to win, except that they faced the toughest competition on their schedule outside of maybe Michigan State, but that was a home game for Nebraska and a different Illinois team on the road. I didn't see anything that looked that different from Nebraska. Certainly some things to clean up, but it felt like the same way Nebraska played all year. It's just that they were able to, overwhelm maybe the lesser talented teams and get away with some more mistakes. But then they just haven't been able to put together, a full 40 minutes in its two games this week because of all the context and the caveats that you want to apply.
Well, yeah, I think their interior defense against somebody like that, I mean, that's what I wonder. I didn't see the first game with Champaign, but and then that was back in early December, by the way. But you wonder if Illinois, they went big yesterday, and that's the thing Nebraska can't defend that well, is they had Sam out there running up. I forget who he was guarding, but the guy was a lot bigger. And they had the guys trying to, and they had two or three alley-oops that they had no chance to stop. So, it's and again, with the healthy mass, it's a little different, but not much different. I just think Illinois is much more talented, and they're bigger. And, Michigan followed up their win over Nebraska with a resounding win at Michigan State, which has become great theater now, because both coaches are now sniping at each other. They clearly hate each other's guts, and it's just part of that series that it's just kind of it's great theater. So, but. Yeah, Nebraska may well be the third best team in the league, and why not? Go with it. I mean, that's great. They might be better. They're still in line to get a number 2 seed, probably. but they can't lose to Rutgers, and they got to win the majority of their games to keep that on that number 2 line, because it's going to get crowded. It's going to get crowded later on, and but just the beauty of this is this looks like a team that is going to get, and I heard Jay Billis say this this weekend that talking about Nebraska, they're going to win the tournament this year. He basically is guaranteed it. So now they're jinxed, but I mean that's. I think we feel pretty good about that, don't we? I mean,
oh yeah,
but that doesn't mean they're going to happen. But I just mean a lot of the stuff right now is kind of gravy, in a way.
No, I think that's fair. I do want to go back to something you said too about the double play with Nebraska, Illinois. They'll have Northwestern. We'll see them a second time, and then 2 games against Iowa remaining here.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that'll help. In the tournament setting when Nebraska reaches the NCAA tournament, being difficult to prepare for. But I think part of that, Tom, was a conversation you and I have had, maybe in bits and pieces, is that Fred Hoiberg got his team to do the essentials in the Big Ten, got him to play better defense, got him to rebound more, got him tougher, got him bigger. Right now, not freakish outlier size like Illinois had across the board or like Michigan had in the front court. But Fred Hoiberg found a way to fit into the Big Ten, do what was required at just a base level to give yourself a chance. But then he still has his fingerprints all over it, right? He's not just a copy and paste of some other coach. He's not running a scheme that, you just have to prepare for the personnel for because you already know the same plays. Sure, there are elements of it, but I think it's been so impressive to see Fred Hoiberg have his plan and execute on his plan that meets all the essentials of becoming a legitimate threat in the Big Ten, but still being able to do it his own way, not just a cookie cutter way.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is the playbook for Nebraska football in a lot of ways. Match the Big Ten with the physicality and defense, and certainly the leadership qualities. The things that make the Big Ten, so hard to win Big Ten games if you don't do those things. But yet he's combined the defense that he has established in the last 4 years with his Iowa State offenses right now, because he has those kind of guys. So I mean, it's the best of both worlds for him. And so, and yeah, there's certainly other teams. If you see him a second time, maybe you know what to do, but what you don't know is what you're going to see out of Nebraska's offense. Because the head coach has got a large playbook and a lot of sets and a lot of different actions. I wouldn't know what action if it came up and slapped me in the face, but that's what they call them. And what I call them is the guy's wide open and he's going to make a layup. He's got layers and layers of these things, pages and pages. And so, yeah, I think that you might think what's coming, but then he's going to throw wrinkles at you. That's what the old master himself, Tom Osborne, used to do with, Nebraska had like 3 or 4 running plays. That's all they had. But he would block him differently, and they would do things differently with the formations, and so this is what Fred can do. You think you know what's coming, and then he shows a whole new page. So it's this is a good week for them to be off. Catch their breath, get healthy, reset, and then if you feel like the second half or maybe the stretch run is going to start Saturday at Rutgers.
Yeah, Saturday, Rutgers, and then a week from tomorrow, Purdue. The Boilermakers come to town. You mentioned the thick playbook that Nebraska men's basketball has, Tom. Checkbook probably a little skinnier for the program, but your colleague Sam McEwen wrote just a few minutes ago, just got posted on Omaha.com. Troy Dannon says that Nebraska men's basketball is set to get a significant bump in revenue sharing dollars. Nebraska hasn't released the figures. They don't have the pie chart of the breakdown of where those funds go, but the cap will rise from about $20.3 million to about $21.4 million for the 26-27 academic year. I guess, first of all, number one question for you would be, if of that million, how much of it would you send to men's basketball? Do you give them the whole thing for having maybe the most overachieving year? Do you still have to divvy that up? How big of a raise do you think Nebraska men's basketball should get, if you had to guesstimate?
Well, okay, explain that to me again. They've been the revenue sharing, the ceiling was supposed to be 20.5, right?
Yes, according to what Sam wrote, it was 20.3, and then it'll go to 21.4 next year. So if you're operating off 20.5, it's essentially just about $1 million increase in just the revenue sharing cap.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I guess that's going to be legal. I guess right now, I don't know what the rules are anymore. I don't think anybody does. But if it goes to 21, it'll be 25 in a couple of years, and then it'll be 30. So you're asking me the extra $1 million that they added onto it? How much should go to basketball?
Yeah. Would you give them the whole $1 million? You still have to break that up across? How would you handle that if you're Troy Dannon?
Yeah, I'd give them the whole $1 million. I mean, but clearly, I mean, you want the best players, but clearly what they have right now is not a large budget group, and they're doing quite well. I don't know what they had to pay people, but you and I both know they weren't sending a lot of money into basketball. So, of course, they're sending a lot of money into football. They're not getting the results. Maybe they should get basketball some of that. But I know how that won't fly very well. But yes, give them. I think you have to. Some of these schools are sending, are giving basketball $8 to $10 million, and Nebraska will probably never do that, but you can certainly do more. I just think there has to be a balance. You want players who are going to fit into what Fred wants to do, and you want a team like this, but you certainly want to be able to go get a 6'8" shot blocker or 6'10" shot blocker, or somebody who can run the floor and do that stuff too. Or if you need a big time point guard, but yeah, so I think definitely give basketball more, but we all know what, if football doesn't win, that's when coaches and ADs lose their jobs. So they will make sure the football eats well from the revenue sharing pie. But yeah, absolutely. I think basketball, the dynamic at Nebraska is certainly different than other places because you've got volleyball. And that said, I don't know that volleyball is a high NIL, has high NIL needs. I don't know what the ladies make. I know they deserve to make a lot, but I don't know if that happens. So, wouldn't it be nice if we knew everything? If all the books were open? But on the other hand, I guess I don't want to know what everybody makes either. I'm kind of torn on that. I'm curious, but as somebody that I don't want to know. I don't want to associate every athlete, but by the price tag.
Yeah, no, transparency is great. It has its drawbacks, right? Taken to its logical extreme. There's some things that aren't necessarily our business. I don't really care to have my eyes on someone else's wallet. What they make is what they make. But I think we can take this NIL conversation and rev sharing conversation this way, Tom. Is we talk about Fred Hoiberg's schemes and what he does being different than most of the rest of the Big Ten and most of the rest of the country in some ways. Nebraska had a really good recruiting weekend, a bunch of 4 and 5 star wings in the building for the Illinois game. But I think the way that Nebraska recruits the style that they want to play, they don't necessarily need to throw the biggest bag at people because maybe some of the traits that they value are different than the traits that, 75% of other teams would. Now, again, they're the non-negotiables. You need enough size. You got to be able to shoot it, handle the ball, dribble, defend at a high enough level. But I don't think Nebraska needs, a maestro pick and roll operator that's going to cost $1.5 million in the portal out of the rev share budget. They can go get, the Monty Morris type or another Jamarcus Lawrence type that fills the role, and they're competing with a potentially much smaller batch of schools that value the same traits the same way.
Yeah, I think what you need is you need to be able to get, for somebody, you don't want to be outbid for somebody you really need. So, what they've done since Sam Griesel is the prototype for what they need to do. It's a program, the way they need to play, the way they need to recruit. They don't need the kids they had before that, and they're certainly good guys, good players. But you don't need to go 4 or 5 stars if you're not going to play defense. You need to get guys. Defense is the identity. That is the number where you start, and then shooting is second. And the things they do with their, sharing the ball. I guess what I'm saying is you still want Sam Griesel, or you still want Jamarcus Lawrence. You just make sure you don't get outbid for them. And I don't know who's doing the bidding. I'm not sure that Michigan or Michigan State or are going to be bidding for them, and maybe they will, maybe they won't. My point is, Fred and Nate Losner know what they need. They know what they want, and so go get those guys. You don't need to get caught up in a game, and that they wouldn't win those battles anyway. They're not going to pay $1 million to $2 million for. They're not. I won't think. Maybe they're doing that. I don't think they are, but but some of these guys are getting $3 or $4 or $5 million too. So, you're not going to get those guys, and you don't. Let's say you don't need them, but they're 20-2, and they're doing just fine in the Big Ten with this group. So, I guess the culture and the way they're playing is they had that figured out. Now that will sort of go year to year. It won't always be like this, but every once in a while you're going to hit on something. But the way they're going about their business now is going to put them in the tournament most years, and it's they're going to be competitive in the Big Ten most years. So do that.
Absolutely. And hey, if all else fails, the way college basketball eligibility is going now, you can pay an extra couple mil to Bryce McGowan. He's got 3 years of eligibility left, right?
Well, yeah. But is he going to play defense? I mean, you can't have a weak link in a team like this. You can't have a guy who's a liability.
But hey, if he comes back with grown man strength, that's a defense in its own right.
Well, I mean, the NBA, they don't do a lot of that, but no, I know what you're saying. This is a great conversation, and I love this topic. And I think football needs to go this way. And I think football, we need to be talking about a baseline. And this will sound crazy, but the baseline for football needs to be around 8-4, and just try to work to that. And once in a while, get up and have a big year. But you start somewhere. Of course, right now they can only dream about 8-4. But I just think identity and just knowing who you are and liking who you are, it's a lot more fun to be sane in today's college sports than it is to be, lose your mind and try to get rid of the coach all the time.
Oh, absolutely. That voice you hear on the other end of the phone is Tom Shatel, lead sports columnist for the Omaha World Herald. This is the Husker football and other sports hour right now. We'll take our first break of the show. Be back with more from Tom Shatel after this.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference?
Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Make your next event unforgettable with Grazing Gouda, your local artists and experts in charcuterie and grazed tables. From boardrooms to ballrooms, they turn gatherings into experiences with stunning spreads of artesian cheeses, cured meats, fresh fruits, and gourmet bites. Perfect for corporate luncheons, weddings, parties, or any celebration that deserves a wow moment. They handle the details. You take the compliments. Book your graze table today at GrazingGouda.com. Grazing Gouda, because every event deserves to be savored.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Stop asking your friends if they're hosting a party this Sunday and come join the real party instead. Join 93.7 The Ticket for the Super Bowl at Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O this Sunday and walk away with great prizes just for showing up. Why worry about making a great spread of foods for the game at your house when you can enjoy all the great wings and more at Buffalo Wings and Rings? It's the Super Bowl party with 93.7 The Ticket at Buffalo Wings and Rings this Sunday at 68th and O. Hey guys, it's Austin Orman. Join me and former Husker Jay Foreman this Friday, February 6th for Old School, live from Back 9 Golf, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Roads in South Lincoln. We'll tell you all you need to know about the premier indoor golf place in Lincoln while enjoying Friday afternoon action of the Waste Management Open. Stop by for giveaways, prizes, and a tour of the facility. We hope to see you there on Friday, February 6th, beginning at 3 p.m. for Old School, live from Back 9 Golf in South Lincoln. A new year means it's time to try new things. If you haven't tried Führer's cheese spread yet, the time is now. For the days you don't want to go to the gym, don't worry. Führer's cheese spread is there to cheer you up. And for the days you do get to the gym, why not celebrate when you get back with the best dip around? Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Führer's cheese spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table.
Tomorrow is about the lessons we learn today. A farmer's market teaches us that community is grown together. Kids laughing shows us how joy is easy. And coffee on the porch reminds us to savor every moment. These are the lessons that shape a tomorrow we all share. One filled with trust, good company, and wide open dreams. That's the way banking should be. And that's Pinnacle Bank. Member FDIC.
Dinner and a movie? You've done that. Arbor Axe House has a date night deal that really hits. This Valentine's Day, enjoy a special rate that includes an hour of axe throwing for 2, plus drinks and koozies. Reserve your lane today at arbораxe.com. Arbor Axe House, on the corner of N Street and Antelope Valley.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That's right. Welcome back in. Ticket weeknight starting off on a Monday here with the Husker Football Hour. Austin Foreman here. Tom Shatel of the Omaha World Herald with us on our Allo Fiber VIP line. Allo Fiber is where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. Tom, you recently took the temperature of all the basketball teams in the area You gave the Nebraska men and women the best chance to make the tournament, both with over 50% odds, with the men being about a lock. Kind of a down year up in Omaha for the blue team. Creighton on both sides of it, kind of a rebuilding, retooling year for them. And then the interesting one, the story that captured a lot of hearts and minds last year, was Omaha. Coach Crutchfield and the Mavericks. It's always, a riskier proposition to make the tournament as a mid-major, but sometimes you think Crutch's team might have, a better shot than even a Big East or a Big Ten team, because all you got to do is be hot for 3 days to punch your ticket.
Yeah. So I made him a toss-up right at 50% because you don't know. They got to, right now they're, they lost their two big guns. They went to LSU, and the other guy was he's the Baylor, and so they have every year they're going to lose guys because their program is a feeder program. They're recruiting high school kids, whereas a lot of big programs aren't now. The high school kids go there, and they develop them for a couple of years, and they coach them up, and the kids get bigger and stronger, and they get experience, and they score points, and then they move on. They get recruited by Tom Izzo or LSU or so, and they get paid a lot of money, and that's what Chris Crutchfield's got. He embraces it. He doesn't, it's not his preference, but that's the way of the world right now. So they're going to retool. But they've done a nice job. They had a lot of injuries. They're right now they're behind North Dakota State, St. Thomas, and North Dakota. So for all you Summer League fans out there, and so they're going to have to beat probably two or all three of those teams to get to, and they're going to have to play them. Probably they're going to have to beat those teams to get there. So, will they do it? Who knows? But every year they're kind of tied to that. They have to win the tournament to get in. That's it. So they'll have that same chance basically every year, which is not bad. Creighton women who are young, and they're good, but they're young and they're going through it. And they were, to me, the best they can do is try to get some confidence this last month and try to get there. Try to carry something over in the next year. Creighton men, they're a little bit of a mess. They got some guys in the portal that have not worked out, and they don't have a point guard. Their star, a potential star player was out for the year after the first few weeks. Jackson McAndrew, but they have plenty of other guys who know how to shoot baskets. So they're just not very good at it this year, and so it's been a struggle for McDermott and his staff, and so.
I know you talked with Mac not that long ago, and reading that article and that conversation you had with him, I could just picture him looking at that team he has, and he said he loved them, right? It's not been a tough group to coach. He says he still enjoys them. I think it just read to me like he just wanted to call them all knuckleheads and just give them like a fisted noogie on top of their head, every single one of them, to get them in line.
I think they're good guys. He only picks good guys, and it's part of their culture. It's part of what's made them. The last 5 or 6 years have been the golden age of Creighton basketball. They've never been better, ever. And so this one's kind of tough for the Jay fans to take because they've been spoiled. But I think there a little bit of that was he was playing psychologist too. I don't think he wants to rip his team, talk about how hard it is or how frustrated he is, and he doesn't want them to see that in print. Some coaches would just tee off and go
Rick
after
Pitino,
him.
Dan Hurley.
Pitino would absolutely do that. Pitino, I'm ready to quit coaching. These guys are driving me out of. He would go nuts. That's just him. But it works for him. I think Mac has been pushing a lot of buttons, and my interview was another button he pushed, and we'll see. But there's some. They're playing. I think the rest of their season, they like finishing in the top four. They have a streak going. They're in the top four of the Big East, and I think it'd be good for them to go to a tournament. Maybe go to the Crown or one of those deals. I know their fans don't want that probably, but the problem is you don't know who's carrying over to next year. They don't know.
Right.
I don't know how many of those players are going to be back, if they're going to want them back. I don't know if Mac's back. Nobody knows what's going to happen after this season. So it's a little bit of a weird deal there. But Nebraska women are in a really interesting place. They're in a league that's loaded. That's the good news and the bad news. Because they got to play all these teams that are really good. They got to win a few of those. They got to figure out a way to win. They've lost 3 in a row here, I think, and they got to go to Michigan. They got Maryland at home Saturday. They got Iowa coming in. They need to get
Oregon, Washington, both pretty solid.
Yeah. I mean these are not so. And they didn't get Potts. They'll get her next year now, and you just hope that they can scratch out enough wins to at least get the tournament this year. I don't think they're not as good as last year right now, but I think they're still good enough to get in. So I gave them a 70%, but they got work to do, but they're sort of capable of doing it. And what did I do? I gave the Nebraska men a 95. I said, well, it's probably 99, but I mean, it's probably 100. But as soon as I do that, it would take an unbelievable thing for them to make the tournament. So the whole point isn't the number. The whole point is Nebraska fans get to go through February and not worry about the bubble. I mean,
Right.
Don't they usually go game to game? You know this, Austin. Husker fans go game to game, and they, are we in? Are we out? And they've got all their charts and their Ken Palms, and you're trying to figure out what's Joe Lenardi saying this week, and every game is the end of the world, and
if they can just pick off this team, if they can scratch this one out, okay, maybe drop this one. You don't have to do the math. The calculus is out the window. This is like simple addition. No geometry, no calc, no trig, none of that. It's out the window.
And these are cornerstoning situations. when you run a bubble and you think you got in, you take to the court, but
right.
You storm that puppy. But there's no, So it's an interesting situation for them to be in, but it doesn't mean everybody's got to. Maybe the fans can kind of kick back and put their feet up, but that team they got a lot of work to do, and the one thing you can't do, you can't shut it off on and off. You can't. Nobody can do that in March. No, that's if anybody believes that, they're wrong. It is always helpful. Not always true. At the '94 team, I talked with Jeff Smith this week. The '94 team won the Big 8 tournament. It's good to be playing well going into the NCAA tournament, but it doesn't always. That's why some of those coaches hate those conference tournaments. They don't want to get to. I can just see Nebraska getting to the Sunday game in Chicago, and oh no, we just played 4 days in a row, and they're out of gas again. I get to get that Thursday morning game. Oh no! So in some ways, they're probably hoping to be home Saturday or Sunday. So, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
That you will, and see, that's a fascinating conversation to have, because I think the Big Ten gets some flack, mostly from Mick Cronin, and not deservedly so. But Nebraska's had some 2-day preps. It had a string of them in a row. I think 3 straight. And so, yeah, they'd probably be worn down, tired at the end of a long season. But maybe they're potentially a little more built for it with the way that the Big Ten is structured. And I also say this, Tom, for a team like Nebraska that hasn't won a Big Ten regular season or conference title, if we want to take the Indiana football comparison, I think this would be a year that if you're Nebraska, you can't turn down a Big Ten championship, right? Indiana hadn't won one for 50 years in football. They took that game against Ohio State wildly seriously. So I think, Fred Hoiberg and his staff would have the perspective. Their players are business oriented enough to say, you know what? We'll deal with whatever comes down the line, but we have a chance to make school history here. We're all for it.
Yes. And they could be Michigan and they could be Illinois in that situation. Austin, the thing I'm really curious about, and I think will help them, the more they win, of course, another big reason winning is imperative in February is to get the high seed, right?
Yeah.
The higher seed keeps you closer to home, right? So, the Illinois fans are already kind of pointing towards St. Louis, where I understand Nebraska fans are hoping for Oklahoma City. Now, you can get that as a 2 or 3. You don't have to be a 1 or 2 to get Oklahoma City. If you're a top 4, anywhere in the top 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, they try to keep it close to home. So, obviously, the higher that you are, the better chance you'll be in Oklahoma City. But my point is, and then I'm curious to see how this works out in Chicago. I mean, I talked about that NCAA tournament 2 years ago, going to Memphis, and walking out there, and the entire whatever they call that arena, Federal FedEx or whatever, the NBA arena is almost red, right? Husker fans took over Memphis. I've never seen that for Fred basketball. I've never seen that for an NCAA tournament. As many people, and I've covered KU in the tournament, and I don't remember KU fans doing anything like that. I mean, maybe they have Kansas City, but not like Memphis. So I think wherever Nebraska is in March, it's going to be, and this year it'll be 10 times what it was 2 years ago. So wherever they're going, I don't care if they're out of gas or what, they're going to get, Husker fans are going to be there, and it's going to be wild. And that'll help them. I really do. So, what would the United Center be like, that week? Well, Husker fans who generally don't travel to the Big Ten tournament, that might be different this year.
Well, we'll see. About a month and change away. Got a long, short month of February ahead, and then a couple games in early March before we turn our attention there. Tom Shatel on the other end of the line. We'll wrap things up with him after this on the Husker Football Hour.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Hey guys, it's Austin Orman. Join me and former Husker Jay Foreman this Friday, February 6th for Old School, live from Back 9 Golf, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Roads in South Lincoln. We'll tell you all you need to know about the premier indoor golf place in Lincoln while enjoying Friday afternoon action of the Waste Management Open. Stop by for giveaways, prizes, and a tour of the facility. We hope to see you there on Friday, February 6th, beginning at 3 p.m. for Old School, live from Back 9 Golf in South Lincoln.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Dana Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Dana Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
The Black Crows are coming to Pinewood Bowl on Tuesday, August 4th, and we want to give you the chance to win free tickets. Tune in all week long for chances to win a pair of tickets each day on The Drive with me, Nick Sainer, and Aaron Davis this week only.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
A new year means it's time to try new things. If you haven't tried Führer's cheese spread yet, the time is now. For the days you don't want to go to the gym, don't worry. Führer's cheese spread is there to cheer you up. And for the days you do get to the gym, why not celebrate when you get back with the best dip around? Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Führer's cheese spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table.
Nutrition Authority invites you to check out the top-selling Epic Effects. Epic Effects is designed to help blast body fat, curb cravings, and provide smooth energy so you can cruise through the day. Home of free samples and better-than-internet pricing, Epic Effects can only be found in Nutrition Authority. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Hey, Nebraska, this is your moment. Love Nebraska is already making noise on the court, but they're still missing one thing, a nickname. That's where you come in. Love Nebraska is giving fans the chance to submit the team's official nickname. Fans will then vote on the finalists later this season. Head to lovbneb.com/nameyourteam to submit your nickname and get in the game. Submissions end on February 22nd. Name your team, shape the legacy.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in one final time here. Austin Orman and Tom Shatel of the Omaha World Herald with you. Joins us on our Allo Fiber VIP line. Tom, it dawned on me today that we are 2 days away from signing day. Not that anyone cares.
Oh, you're right. Are they going to get anybody? I haven't paid attention.
That's where I'm at with it, too. I think they're in the running for one 4-star defensive tackle who's down to like Nebraska, Kentucky, and visited Florida. But holy cow, I remember even 10 years ago how big a deal signing day was. 5 years ago, maybe. And now that first Wednesday in February is just so far off the radar.
Is it... Are the local high schools doing things, or are everybody already signed up, or are there still guys that are going to do something? Or
beats me. I see. That's my thing is that it doesn't seem like it matters.
Why am I asking you?
Yeah, I've never been a recruit, Nick, and I appreciate the people who are out here who do cover it. But man, I mean, especially for football and basketball, the Division I level kind of seems like 98% or more of the work gets done. But I do think, Tom, that's maybe an interesting opportunity for some of those lower levels. We talked with a former Nebraska player and running backs coach Ryan Held on Old School on Friday, and he said Wednesday coming up is a big day for him and the Lopers out there at Kearney. Yeah. So I think it's easy, to sit here and say, yeah, there's not a lot going on, and that's certainly true for the D1 level where most of the coverage is. But I do think there are some, awesome opportunities to still highlight the young men and women signing on the traditional signing day and make it a big event for some of these smaller schools.
Well, I thought about this, and I think we've talked about this before, and I really hate it because they pushed the transfer portal has pushed the high school kids off to the side. Yeah. And certainly the Trey Taylors are that's at a different level. But a lot of these kids aren't going to get a chance by the time they develop. they've already been replaced because somebody stepped in front of them from some other school. Because the coaches like older guys. So it's too bad. I really now this is what I've said. Maybe I should write it. Maybe I should start talking and writing about this stuff. But I really feel like a smart play, especially for quarterbacks, high school quarterbacks, is go to South Dakota State, go to Kearney, go. And certainly I'd probably try to go Division I if you can. But you go to these schools in the Missouri Valley or the Dakota schools in the North Dakota states that are really good. Develop there, start, earn, get yourself some film and some resume, and win some games, and then go cash in at the end. How many times have we seen quarterbacks? Daniel Kalen is one. Coming up, he's ready to go. He's got to wait. He's got a red shirt. Then he goes and he leaves to go to Virginia. Now he's coming back, and who knows if he'll ever. I love the guy. I hope he plays, but you just wonder if guys like him should maybe. And you can't tell them this. You certainly can't spoil anybody's dream. They have to do what they want to do. I just wonder if maybe not a smarter path, but just the better path would be to go play. Get on the field somewhere and play, and then earn your way up the ladder, and then go start for like Iowa last year.
Yeah,
the Gronowski from. So I'm saying, I just wonder how many kids have thought about that. Most of these. Steve Warren, a year ago, I interviewed him, and of course his son plays. He's the West Side quarterback, and he's going to go to Missouri. Steve Warren said all these kids now have agents. High school kids now have agents, so he hates it. He's trying to mentor these guys up, as they come up from 7th and 8th grade in his academy. And he's, and the agents have their ears, and the agents tell them to do this and that, and it's, it's like like the NFL already. It's like major college football already. It's just, this used to be the national holiday, right? The first Wednesday in February was the national holiday. We had giant press conferences. Tom Osborne used to. Talking about every player for like an hour, so he wouldn't have to answer questions. It was strategy. Now we thought, well, will there be a Matt Rule availability this week? And I don't think there's going to be. I'm not sure that there should be, but they had the signing date in December, which should be changed, is a big deal. I don't think you could do a press conference and a thing after the portal closes. The people are more interested in the portal now than they are in high school recruiting.
Oh, without a doubt. And that's become the lifeblood of, so many programs. I would also throw a guy like Zane Flores into that conversation from Gretna, and even Jet Tamala. Really curious about that one, Tom. It's not like, Daniel Kalen and Zane Flores went to, bad schools at all. But this is Alabama that we're talking about, and Jet Tamala broke a lot of records in the state of Nebraska. Even just having that Alabama recruit attached to his name, you would think that would help him end up somewhere else down the line if it doesn't work out for him in Tuscaloosa.
Sure, yeah, and that's awesome. I'm happy for him, and I'm sure he's going into that situation with his eyes open. That Alabama will the pressure to win is unbelievable, and. So they'll always be trying to find other quarterbacks. They'll always be trying to find other guys. They'll always be trying to bring somebody in on the portal. So, but yeah, who cares? Just go down and take your shot and see what happens. It's awesome. So, but yeah, it's I had not thought about that, and we used to have the big high school recruiting dinner in Omaha. There's a big big deal, a high dollar deal, and the Holiday Inn Convention Center, and Husker coaches would show up. They'd drive in the limo and show up, and people would go nuts and read about all the new guys and all the kids and the future Huskers. And I wonder, does anybody miss it? I don't know.
I haven't heard much complaining, and so I'm going to take it that no, people don't really miss it. Well, Tom, we did miss out on time. We went a full hour here. Appreciate, as always, your time here on a Monday night. We will certainly talk once more before Purdue comes to town, planning to be at the Vault for Huskers and Boilermakers in about 8 days.
I'm going to try.
Excellent. It's a plan. Thanks as always, Tom. Good to talk to you.
Thanks, Tom.
Tom Shatel, voice of the Omaha World Herald, with us, their lead sports columnist, joining us on our Allo Fiber VIP line. Allo Fiber is where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. Really appreciate Tom and his time here on every single Monday night. That'll do it for me. Don't go anywhere. Full ticket weeknights come your way next, beginning with All In. Ridge Lovett, Caleb Smith, Husker Wrestling. That's next.
Tomorrow is about the lessons we learn today. A farmer's market teaches us that community is grown together. Kids laughing shows us how joy is easy. And coffee on the porch reminds us to savor every moment. These are the lessons that shape a tomorrow we all share. One filled with trust, good company, and wide open dreams. That's the way banking should be. And that's Pinnacle Bank. Member FDIC.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the